Hi, welcome to today's video. My name is Paul. So this week, again, as you can see, chance to do a bit of watercolor landscape painting. As usual, the painting is not the main focus of the video. I'm going to be rambling on about some stuff. The video is really, the painting is there just something to watch in the background. But I have put a list of materials that I use in the description box below, just in case anybody's interested. So this week I wanted to talk about an artist, now not an obscure artist. Sometimes I talk about obscure artists. This one is not. He's well known, I think, and it's Henri Matisse, the French artist. He had an interesting career and an interesting start to his art career. So as a child, as a young teenager, he didn't show any strong interest in art or wanting to become an artist or anything like that. In fact, after school he decided, or it was decided for him, I'm not sure, that he would study law and become a lawyer. And that's what he did. He went off and he started to study law. But during his first year or so of studying, he had to have an operation. He had to have an appendicitis. It all went fine, but obviously afterwards there was a period of recuperation where he was sort of bedridden or couldn't move about very much. And during this period, his mother, for some reason, decided to buy him some art supplies so that at least he would have something to pass the time while he was sitting around recovering. And then, maybe to Henri's surprise, and maybe to everybody else's surprise, he actually really got into the art and he enjoyed it to the point where even after recovering he still continued to paint and draw. In those early days he was, I guess like a lot of people, he was doing a lot of copying of old masters and other artists. So his style was he was trying to create a sort of traditional style, a naturalistic approach to painting. But he didn't have any formal painting education or any art education. It got to the point where actually he decided that he didn't want to become a lawyer and he didn't want to study law anymore. So he decided he would quit that and instead he would study art. I'm not sure how his parents took this, if they were happy with this. Most parents would like to see they want to see their children happy, of course, but maybe also they want to see their children in a stable financial situation. And being an artist is not well known for being a stable financial situation. But he decided that's what he was going to do, and he went off to Paris. And at first he was studying in a school, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a very sort of traditional salon type of artist in Paris. And his training consisted of lots of sitting around drawing plaster casts, things like that. Henri Matisse very quickly decided that this was not for him and he wanted something more experimental, more expressive. So he left that school and went to a small art school run by the French symbolist painter Moreau, and that seems to suited him more. He then also met and became friends with Camille Pissarro. Camille Pissarro often comes up in these stories. He seems to have helped a lot of young artists in the early days of their career. Anyway, Camille Pissarro introduced Matisse to sort of neo-impressionism, this pointillism or divisionism as it's sometimes called. And so Matisse sort of got into that for a while, even to the point of painting with, I think, Seurat or possibly Signac, the two artists who are most associated with this style of painting. Later on, Matisse also became aware of and was heavily influenced by Cézanne as well. And he used all of these different ideas, Cézanne's approach and Neo-Impressionism and symbolism and all these different influences, and he started to use them to develop his own ideas, which I think is an important point for us to remember. It's good to copy and it's enjoyable and things, but I think we also have to try and develop our own style of art, and using other people's ideas and things as influences and starting points, but ultimately trying to incorporate those ideas into our own way of doing things. Eventually, of course, all of these new ideas developed into what's sometimes called Fauvism. Fauvism, again, it wasn't a very formal, well-defined art movement. It was just a few artists who had similar interests, and as an art movement it was quite short-lived. But it did help Matisse to develop his ideas further, particularly around using colour, and also getting away from purely representational art into more abstraction. So Fauvism rejected the idea that art is only about representing reality. Instead, it's also about being expressive and a chance for the artist to express their feelings about the subject matter that they're painting or drawing. Fauvism even got rid of or didn't put much emphasis on things like perspective. Instead, Fauvism kind of embraced the fact that you're using a flat two-dimensional surface to represent three-dimensional reality. So you end up with quite flat compositions, flat areas of colour. And the colour, again, was not representing reality. That, of course, then led into, or was part of, the early days of modern art, together with Cubism. Matisse is a very interesting character. He had quite a tough time, especially in the early days, but he didn't give up on art. He kept going, so he's quite inspiring in that way. Anyway, if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in next week's video.